and welcome to Active Bryant Systems. Thank you for clicking on the video. And this video is all about staying young as you age. Now, I'm 51 and I want to keep my muscle mass. I want to keep strong and healthy. And I was looking for books to give me some great information. So one book is The Official Anti-Aging Revolution, Stop the Clock, It's Time on Your Side for a Younger, Stronger, Happier You. Excellent, excellent book. I really love this book, full of really good information. And then we've got A New Way of Science, Athletic Performance, that is revolutionising sport. Peak, really, really good book. A really good friend got me that as a gift. And then another book which was recommended by Coach Charles Parlequin, who died 5 years ago, is HGH. So this HGH book, Grow Younger with HGH, amazing medically proven plan in which to stay young. And then I've got this other book which I've not finished yet, which is called Lifespan. All these books are really, really, really good. And the great thing about reading about aging, and with me being a trainer for over 22 years and been working out since I was about 9, but really properly working out started when I was 19. So, you know, you can work out the maths. So with this book, it debunks some things and really advocates some things. So one thing it debunks is that a lot of people think that you can get kidney problems from taking too much protein. Now, a scientist said that this is all nonsense, and he's referenced in the book. Then they recommend creatine for gaining muscle mass and BCAAs. Now, Charles Parlequin, he was the one that was really the forefather of BCAAs and taking high amounts of BCAAs in which to get muscle mass and to do German volume training. Now, from my own experience of over 8 weeks now, I've been doing German volume training. My muscles have definitely got thicker and denser. My weight has gone up a little bit, which is great, which I wanted. And my strength has increased. I've had to add 2.5 kilos to everything that I'm doing, which is great. So when you're taking minimum of 20 grams to 40 grams of BCAAs, every time I train, I'm never sore the next day. Whereas before, I'd always be sore the next day with, DOMs. And I found by using the method of using BCAAs has massively helped. And they've said that BCAAs can reduce visceral fat, so the fat that's behind the abdominal wall, and help increase testosterone. So I've been using myself as a guinea pig. Wasn't 100% convinced until I've done it and I've measured all my body. So I know that my size and my strength have definitely gone up. And all I've got is 25 kilo dumbbells, and I've got some resistance bands, and I've got some kettlebells, and the heaviest kettlebell I've got is 32 kilo. So I know that if I was in a big boys gym, which I will be soon, I would gain even more muscle size, even though I'm 51 years old. Because in all the time that I've been training, I never ever really took creatine properly, and I never really knew about BCAAs until I read Charles Parlequin's book, which I had for years, talking about German volume training. So in peak performance, he highly recommends creatine loading, in which to gain up to 4 pounds of muscle. 4 pounds! When you can gain 7 pounds, they're saying naturally a year, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 pounds of muscle, another 2 or 3 pounds, and you've gained a stone of muscle in 1 year if you're on the right training program. So with the anti-aging book, there's a test that you can do where you take your pulse rate for 30 seconds, okay? And if your pulse rate is higher than 30 in 30 seconds, then the chances of you having a heart attack and you aging quicker is ginormous, especially at my age of 50. Okay, so they recommend different heart rate variables to find out how your heart is functioning, as well as your longevity and how you're going to age. And most people, when they meet me, will go, and when I tell them how old I am, they're quite shocked. Because you look, I've got no wrinkles and no Botox. So in this book as well, they're talking about 5 key exercises, which I agree with and don't agree with from a point of view of I believe that all the muscles need to be worked in the body, but in the book it's talking about squats, lunges, side lunges and box squats, which I know the legs are the biggest muscle in the body, so I understand why they may be putting it in there. But really, you still want to work your chest, you want to work your arms, you want to work your back, you want to work the whole body equally together. Now, I've been a bit of a sheep when it comes to training my legs, but for the last 8 weeks, I've been training my legs like a nutcase, and I've seen massive improvements in my thigh thickness and strength, which is a great thing to do, especially with the German volume training, which my body had never had done on it ever before. So the other thing in the Anti-Aging Revolution book, they talk about L-glutamine and how L-glutamine can improve your growth hormone. And then in the HGH book, they talk about how just fasting once every 2 weeks increases your growth hormone by 200%. Remember that when you hit 50 and 60, especially 50, you have about 5 micrograms of growth hormone in your system. And if you're not training or exercising, it's even less. But if you are training, it will probably be about 10 micrograms. But when you get up to 60, you'll have 1 microgram. And this is why you see 60-year-olds, they get really wrinkly across here, really wrinkly here, really wrinkly through the face. And one other reason could be is that they have low amounts of body fat. So you've got to be careful of this. And this is what my plastic surgeon friend has always told me. He said, Scott, you've got good skin because you've got equal amounts of fat ratio in your face. And this is why you look younger than most people of your age, and you've never smoked and you've always exercised. So both books agree that exercise is paramount, okay? But it doesn't have to be weight training. But if you're doing just steady state cardio, this can be damaging for the heart. But if you're doing interval cardio, it's much better for the heart. And in the book, The Exercise, the Myth, that I read recently, a cardiologist said that just doing cardio doesn't increase your lifespan, because people die when they're ready to die. Does that make sense? And the heartbeat only beats so many times. And this is what Chinese philosophy believes in as well. Your heart only has so many beats. Does that make sense? So you can believe in that or not believe in it. It's entirely up to you. But with this book and this book, fundamentally, training is the key to keeping younger. They were saying something like 80% of people that exercise live longer than the people that don't exercise. So your longevity goes up. The same as if you change your diet and your diet's good, your supplementation is good, and your exercise is good. Because remember, exercise is like a drug, and many people over-exercise because they're addicted to exercise, and this stops the change or the improvement that they're looking for. Does that make sense? So in the book, in both books, they both recommend how to increase the testosterone and how to increase growth hormone naturally, not taking a synthetic drug. And in the GHG book, it recommends drugs that you can get from your doctor, but it recommends how to do it naturally as well with L-glutamine and BCAAs. All these can help the body to enhance itself and get stronger. Now you may be thinking, well, why is it so important to have high growth hormone? Now growth hormone will help with testosterone levels, and they found scientifically that the higher the growth hormone levels are, the lower your body fat levels are over the body. So when you see a 40, 50 and 60-year-old and they've got a huge belly, then you'll know that their hydrochloric acid will be low in the gut, as well as their growth hormone, and the cortisol level will be too high and the growth hormone will be too low. So to get optimum levels, you need to increase growth hormone and testosterone and decrease cortisol levels. So cortisol levels are a stress hormone. So if you're training too late at night, if you're stressed out late at night, or you're doing the wrong type of exercises for your body, especially if you're in adrenal fatigue, you won't get the results that you're looking for. So if you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s and you can't get it up, like you can't get a boner, then this could be the reason why that your hormonal profile is all over the place. Now, I spoke to a 60-year-old at the end of last year, and he told me he was drinking 2 bottles of wine a night, and he was eating like a vegan diet. And then he said to me, "Why am I in pain, Scott?" I said, "Well, you're in pain because you're not putting the branched chain amino acids inside the body. Yes, plants have a little bit of protein in it, but they're not complete proteins." And then he went, "Well, should I take vegan protein?" No, it's full of soy and sugar and other crap that will cause damage in the body, so you shouldn't be taking that neither. So it's all about getting the balance right. And the great thing about this book, it goes very, very in-depthly about women going through menopause and andropause for men. So men go through menopause the same as women. But the way to combat the menopause for men and women is exercise. But the right type of exercise. Not running on a treadmill, not rowing on a rower, not doing that skiing nonsense, but doing proper strength and conditioning program, especially for women. So if you're 40 to 60 years old and you're afraid of lifting weights because you're going to get big and bulky, don't be afraid. Because what will happen as you start to lift weights, your body will gain lean muscle tissue, which pushes your metabolic rate up, which enables your body to keep fat off the body for longer and to keep you looking younger. I can remember doing a newspaper article about Madonna when she turned 50. And they said, "Well, what do you think about Madonna doing yoga, doing, skating and dancing and weightlifting?" And I went, "Well, she's working her cardiovascular system, she's working her chakra system, and she's working her bone system." So you've got to remember, if you're a female, the chances of you getting osteoporosis of the bone is ginormous because of estrogen levels, okay? But the higher the estrogen levels for a woman, the longer you live. But because when you go through the female menopause, there's such a drop in certain hormones, this is why so many women get breast cancer. And remember that the breast stores toxins because the breast is 90% fat. So the breast is storing toxins from the alcohol that you keep drinking and the crap diet you're on and how stressed you are about your life or how you look or about your mortgage you've got to pay or the partner that you're with. Can you see why you might build up toxins in your breast or under your lymph nodes in your armpit? Simply because you're too stressed. So when it comes to male menopause or andropause, testosterone goes down. Growth hormone goes down. Okay? Cortisol goes up. And that's why you start getting the rapid aging and you don't feel as good as you did when you was in your 20s and late 30s. Okay? And remember in the book it recommends no alcohol, especially beer for men, because it drops your testosterone. No sugar drops your testosterone, okay? Eating steak and eggs is highly recommended for increasing your testosterone and growth hormone. The same with if you're eating steak and eggs like twice a week, if you can, or eating 4 eggs a day, because of the higher levels of cholesterol in the egg, cholesterol mimics testosterone. So as soon as you take a statin, your testosterone drops, you can't get a hard on, then you start getting inflammation and aches and pains through the body. Now, my doctor said to me about 5 years ago, "Scott, you've got really high cholesterol, you need to take this statin drug." But lucky enough, I read the book, Cholesterol, the Myth, and realised it was the drug companies trying to make even more money And the doctor gets a kickback when you're taking a cholesterol lowering drug because you'll take it for the rest of your life. But then it messes with all your hormonal system and then makes you gain more body fat and you turn into a female. So you really don't want to be taking, in my opinion, it's entirely up to you, lower statin drugs because they cause lots and lots of problems. And the holistic doctors that I've spoken to agree with me 100%. They've got no... they don't say that it's good at all. We've got to think, how did we get here? Okay, so the human genome hasn't changed in 200,000 years. We're still caveman and cavewoman. So if we was in a cave, we'll be killing the dinosaur. No, we'd be dead then, wouldn't we? But after the dinosaurs, we'll be killing the animals and eating the whole animal, the organ, the brain. And the brain has been proven, this is where you get all your BCAAs from. And your LDL and your good omega fats from the brain of the animal. So chiropractor Cass Ingram in the States, his fish oil that you buy are not from the fish, it is from the fish itself, but it's from the brain of the fish because it's less damaged than getting it from other organs of the fish. Does that make sense? So really, really important for longevity and to not age as fast is to get plenty of sleep. Smoking's a big no-no, definitely ages you even quicker. Obviously keep strength and conditioning training program. Do fasting every second week, only one day. Cold showers have been found good for inflammation in the body as well as skin tone. So your face will stay looking younger. Drinking your body weight in ounces of water a day, so 0.33 times your body weight. Highly, highly important. Only exercise 4 times a week. Do not do any more than 4 times a week. If you do more than 4 times a week, you'll be overtraining, causing a cortisol spike. Yeah, a cortisol spike, which will make you store more body fat. And you'll get injured quicker, and your body won't really recover to its optimum levels. Does that make sense? Don't do steady state cardio, do interval cardio. If you look at the 200 meter runners compared to a marathon runner, the marathon runner will have higher proportions of body fat compared to the 200 meter runner or to the sprinter, if that's your goal. And then in the book, Exercise the Myth, the cardiologist surgeon talks about that they found that people that do too much cardiovascular training later on in age get brain diseases and brain problems. And it's funny about, if you think about, cardiovascular training, when you're doing weightlifting, so let's say we get you to do a high pull with an Olympic bar, bringing the bar up, going up onto your toes. If you do 20 reps at that and you have a 1 minute rest period and you do that for 5 sets, your heart rate will go totally anaerobic. So that means that you're working the anaerobic system and the aerobic system. So that means you will gain cardiovascular fitness as well as gain some muscle tone as well. And this is why in the 22 years that I've been working with clients, if any clients have asked me to press a button on a machine, on a treadmill, I say I can't work with them. Or if you really want me to press that button, it's going to be £200 to press, £200 to press, £200 to press. Because one, as a trainer, it's highly boring. And two, I know the detrimental effects of it. So I wouldn't get my clients to ever do something that I wouldn't do myself. Does that make sense? So if you really want to get fitter, do interval walking over the park. Or interval jogging, where you jog for 1 minute hard, then rest, then for 1 minute, and then jog the next minute really, really hard, and see how long you can do that for 20 minutes. But never do it over that time. The same as if you train after 3 o'clock, you're into cortisol zone, so you may end up gaining more body fat because of your ramping up your cortisol. Does that make sense? And I find that most people that train really late at night can't sleep fully, and they can't go into deep REM sleep, which is really, really important for recovery of the whole body. So the official anti-aging book, highly recommend. And HGH, you may not be able to get a hold of them now because they were quite hard for me to get, and these books are second hand, they're not brand new. So the only book that was brand new is Lifespan, this book here, but I've not really started it yet. And from looking in the index of the book, it's very scientifically jargoned, and I don't like books like that. I like books that are like my own book, which are very practical with easy knowledge, easy to understand. And if you look at my book on Amazon, Holistic Health for Proper Geezers, Classy Ladies, Get the Body and Fitness You Want Now, you'll find that the reviews say how easy the book was to read and the knowledge that they got from the book was pretty good. But knowing all the stuff that I've read since Christmas, I think that my second book would be much better. And obviously your first book is not always as good as your second book, because you know you've got experience of writing a book and you know what the people want to read. And I've read 914 books now. I'm hoping to get to, I'm trying to do one a week if I can, but it's not always possible with seeing clients and travelling around London to see people. But I highly recommend them 3 books. If you want to learn how to grow younger as you age, and you want to keep buff as you age like I do. And, you know, my heroes are Jack LaLanne, I think he died at 86 or 89, still swimming the Golden Gate Bridge, the length of the Golden Gate Bridge. So still kept himself, you know, awesomely fit, even though he was in his 80s. Then you got Bill Pearl. He died. No, is he dead or is he alive? I think he died at 80 as well. And he was a bodybuilder, had massive arms, looked absolutely amazing in my opinion. So there's no reason to age and not train. And no reason to not eat healthy. No reason to not drink enough water. No reason not to go to bed on time. No reason not to come and book me and get your hormones and get everything in balance so you start feeling great again. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been quite a long one. Please comment down below. Please like, please follow, please subscribe. And I'll try and post a video once a month. I'm just really busy doing lots of other things. I'm studying to be a naturopath, so I should be a naturopath in about 6 months, which would be great to use that system with the check system and all the other stuff that I've learned over 22 years. And I'm one of these people that I love learning. It's just amazing. And as you age, you've got to keep your brain ticking over. In all the books, it says that if you don't use it, you lose it. With muscle mass, it's the same. With your brain, it's the same. If you want to keep your ligaments and tendons working well, yes, your synovial fluid reduces, but if you keep your water high, you should be fine. And what I found with being 50 and taking more supplements than what I took before is that I still feel like I'm 20 years old. Does that make sense? Some more is if I stretch at night before I go to bed and have a nice bath and sleep all the way through, I feel great the next day. And if I go away from that for whatever reason, something's happened in my life, then I don't feel as good the next day. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Peace out. Lots of love. Bye-bye.